Hello and welcome to National Focus. I'm your presenter Mervin. Thank you for joining us. Topping the headlines, Phoebisha Joseph tops the 2012 graduating class of the Portsmouth Secondary School. The Ministry of Education makes provision to accommodate underachievers at grade 6 level. And the Caribbean and Latin America celebrate the 7th anniversary of the signing of the Petrocaribe Agreement. All these stories and more when National Focus returns. Welcome back. Time now for the details of the news.
As the government of Dominica, we shall remain resolute in our support for Petrocaribe because we appreciate the importance of Petrocaribe to every single Dominican walking the streets of Dominica.
The Prime Minister, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, speaking at a ceremony on Wednesday to mark the 7th anniversary of the Petrocaribe Energy Agreement. The goal of the agreement was to facilitate the integration of Caribbean people through energy cooperation based on favorable, equitable exchange between the countries.
It is in Dominica where the Petrocaribe Agreement has proved to be the most effective means of integration between countries and to show how the brotherhood of the nationalities can be achieved. Furthermore, it is through this agreement that Dominica has been able to receive some of the benefits of this agreement, not only from the financial standpoint, but also from the social standpoint, and can be shown in the social projects, mainly with the Fisherman's Station, Petrocasas, and security in energy. Petrocaribe Agreement has established favorable arrangement of the petroleum invoice, which not only provides cash flow benefits to the country, but also makes available the long-term portion of the petroleum invoice for the secure investment. This has potential for some of the income from this investment to make available for social projects of the government of Dominica's choosing.
Venezuela's ambassador to Dominica, Her Excellency Carmen Martinez de Grijalba, in her address at Wednesday's ceremony on the grounds of the Old Mill Cultural Center, spoke of some of the projects funded through the Petrocaribe Agreement.
Having established a plan in Jimmy that has provided direct employment to almost 33% and indirectly to over 200. It is also good to remember that in Dominica, this initiative has permitted the construction of homes, now at the Housing Revolution, the Salivia Primary School, the Marine Defense Cohetes Fred and Tantan, the supplies of vehicle and vessel as contribution to citizen security. Also, we have seen contribution in areas such as the tourism, road improvement, agriculture, port and poultry projects, the so-long vital removal of scrap iron from Portsmouth, which after 30 years was removed, leaving Portsmouth with a clean bay, free of contamination. The Rosalie Petit-Souffle Road, the extension of the runway and security area of the Melvin Hall Airport, just to mention a few.
The Prime Minister, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, noted that the Petrocaribe Agreement has had a significant impact over the lives of people in Dominica and other regional countries.
I can say without any fear of contradiction that the Petrocaribe Agreement is the lifeblood of many countries in the Caribbean and Latin America. I know of countries today, because of the global crisis, are using the funds from Petrocaribe to pay the salaries of public officers in these countries. I know of countries today that are using the resources to meet the debt payment that they are unable to meet on a monthly basis. And if we were to remove the Petrocaribe Agreement from the mix of financial considerations, I would say that the challenges which are confronting all of us in the Caribbean would have been fourfold.
Wednesday's ceremony included several performances from locals as well as foreign groups.
tarde catira y mora Petrocora lon callada. La tarde catira y mora, la tarde catira y mora Petrocora lon callada.
In Dominica, I beg you. Then Cherry, hey, I love you, I love you. Le bretan musique sala, on bagay ka pour moi, aka sati en tête moi, quand ils en poussent de moi. Oh, le bretan musique sala, moi ka sati en chez moi, sati en moi, à tout corps à moi. Cuando estoy bailando, me siento el mejor. Si bailo un merengue, lo bailo pegado. Para que mi negra me sienta apretada. Que dice que soy un hombre bacano, caliente y sabroso, como acelerado. Que dice que soy un hombre bacano, caliente y sabroso, como acelerado. Batalha de patas, vai no pé jantar, já tô atendendo. Vai no tupinia, só comigo é só pro preço. No tua vai de baixo, sapo, sapo, filha muda seco, sapo, mas o que beleza, sapo, isso que se encontre, sapo, quando ela quer vir, sapo, sapose, 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 sapose.
In other news, Minister for Social Services, Community Development and Gender Affairs, Honorable Gloria Shillingford, is fully supportive of the Juvenile Justice Reform Project for the Oecs. The project, which was launched at the Fortin Hotel on Tuesday, seeks to reduce relapse rates among young offenders. It also aims to increase the chances of youths who have had run-ins with the law to transform themselves into citizens who contribute positively to society.
And cognizant of the ills that confront our juveniles, I am glad that this juvenile justice program will form part of our social development program geared at transforming our young people who come in conflict with the law. Let me say that we are ready to make it a reality in Dominica. Of course, this initiative I know will not be successful without the involvement of other agencies, and hence I assure you that my ministry will give its best to make this program a success.
In October 2011, the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, and the Oecs Secretariat signed a multi-year agreement to support the reform of the juvenile system in the region. The program is funded through the Caribbean Basin Security Initiative that was announced by U.S. President Obama at the 2009 Summit of the Americas. Several surveys have since been conducted to determine the best approach to the reform process.
Most significantly for us is that the last situation analysis on the status of children in Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, conducted by UNICEF in 2010, concluded that adolescents living in the region are generally well adjusted. However, many have been affected by the escalating levels of violence in schools, as well in the wider community. Opportunities for their meaningful participation on issues affecting their lives are limited. The USAID-funded Caribbean Basin Security Initiative Juvenile Justice Assessment of 2011 found similar conclusions to the Oecs early investigations. And the report was filled with recommendations for improving, firstly, the legal and regulatory framework of the juvenile justice system, capacity building for effective administration of juvenile justice, modernization of diversion, detention and rehabilitative processes in the juvenile justice system.
Meantime, acting USAID representative for Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, Stephen Hendricks, announced plans for the development of a basic education and literacy program for the Oecs. That program, he explained, is a result of discussions held between USAID officials and Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit.
It was about a month ago that Prime Minister Skerrit came to our offices in Bridgetown, and we talked to him about the breadth and depth of the USAID programs here in Dominica. We mentioned to him about our very successful HIV/AIDS program with PEPFAR here in the Caribbean. We talked about climate change adaptation efforts that are so vulnerable for these communities that are so vulnerable in the small island nations. We talked about disaster preparedness and disaster response. But I think it was in youth development and juvenile justice where we had some of our most interesting conversations. And Prime Minister Skerrit also mentioned that we need to not only look at adolescents and teenagers, but we need to help kids as they get to adolescence. And some of that involves basic education and basic literacy. We cannot have teachers inherit kids who've been promoted through the grades who can't read and write, who are already vulnerable from an academic point of view by the time they get to that point. And so Prime Minister Skerrit challenged us to rethink our work here in the Caribbean, and under Mr. Blackwood's leadership, USAID will be announcing soon, sorry to take your steam, we'll be announcing soon a new program in basic education and literacy with our Caribbean partners in the Oecs.
We will bring you more details of the Oecs Juvenile Justice Reform Program in Friday's newscast. In other news, 54 students of the Portsmouth Secondary School proudly graduated from their alma mater on Wednesday at a graduation ceremony held under the theme "Breaking Down Barriers, Surging Ahead." Family members and friends parked the Longhouse Jetty in Portsmouth to witness these young men and women mark the completion of their high school career. School Principal Ronald Ostry, in addressing his first graduation ceremony since assuming his recent role as principal, encouraged the graduates to think big and critically, to stamp out mediocrity and put God first in their lives.
I need to remind you that knowledge is power, but the application of knowledge is the key to success. Your future lies in your hands. Make proper use of all the opportunities presented to you. Think big. Think critically and learn how to make informed judgment based on empirical evidence when necessary. Stamp out mediocrity and be positive in your approach. Learn how to pray and put God first in your life.
Meantime, Parliamentary Representative for the Portsmouth constituency, Honorable Ian Douglas, in a passionate address to the graduating class, told them that they should not be afraid to fall, but rather they should be concerned about how they move forward following that fall.
You are now turning a new leaf. You are now turning a page of a new book. You are now taking a step towards the next level of your life, a new chapter in your life. Bear in mind that change, even if it is planned, it often means considering plunging into the unknown. That's why so many people are afraid of change. That's why sometimes we are comfortable to sit where we are and we don't want anybody to rock our boat. We don't want anybody to move the cheese because we are comfortable where we are, what we are doing. We are comfortable with today. But be mindful always that we all fear falling on our faces. We all afraid to fail. We are all afraid to fall. But falling is inevitable. What is important is not how or where you fall, but how you get up and decide to move forward with your lives.
Valedictorian Miss Phoebisha Joseph outperformed her fellow graduates and walked away with 15 awards for excellence in both academic subjects and sporting disciplines. Phoebisha also copped the Sportswoman of the Year award and the James Fabian Award. Phoebisha, whose parents are teachers at the Portsmouth Secondary School, attributes her success to the support and encouragement received by family and the desire to meet their expectations. Ms. Joseph said her success did not come easy, but emphasized that with hard work and determination, she emerged at the top. Her future ambition is to attend the Dominica State College, after which she will pursue studies to become a marine biologist.
My most significant barrier occurred even before I entered this institution. In my 4th grade at the St. John's Catholic School, I endured the most traumatizing alienation for no apparent reason. But it served as a defining moment. I shed the friends who preferred popularity to solidarity. The wounds healed with a few lingering scars, and with a new sense of individuality, I went on to become the valedictorian of my school leaving class. In time, I built new bonds and recovered slowly. I have, since then, thrived in the positivity of a tight-knit circle of friends who provided stability in a society of adolescent chaos. They were, perhaps unknowingly, my avenues for healthy competition in academics and sport, among other things.
The Student of the Year award went to Alice Charles. Ms. Charles also won subject awards for office administration, physics, social studies, and school spirit. The Salutatorian Award went to Diana Dubois. She received awards for Principles of Business and the Overall Business Student Award. The Sportsman of the Year award went to Brielle Thomas. The graduating class entertained those gathered with this special rendition. In more news, the Ministry of Education is poised to make the necessary provisions for students who received failing grades at the Grade 6 National Assessment. Education Minister Honorable Peter Seja says this can be done following consultation with parents and the school which a child attended. The minister told the news conference this week that while government would like to give every child an opportunity to attend secondary school, it must be understood that not all children are sufficiently prepared for secondary school.
I do not want the public to misinterpret what we say when we speak of universal secondary education. And I think the chief will deal with that in a little more detail. But please understand that there is always a smaller percentage of the children who write the national assessment examinations who may not be adequately prepared to enter secondary school. There is nothing that prevents a child from repeating grade 6. I want to be clear on that. Of necessity, there will be some students who will have to repeat grade 6 so that they are better prepared for first form in the secondary school.
There has been some concerns among some circles that under the universal secondary education system, even students who perform poorly are given the benefit of a secondary education. The government of Dominica since 2005 had made tremendous gains in providing universal access to all secondary school students. Education Minister Sejan, in defending the program, says while universal secondary education is not a perfect system, his ministry is working constantly to improve the system.
We recognize that there are tremendous challenges with universal secondary education, It is not a perfect system. No system is 100% foolproof. However, my ministry is working constantly to ensure that we provide the best for every Dominican child. Having created access, we are now working on developing and building on the quality that we deliver.
The Education Minister disclosed that the ministry will be moving to introduce the Caribbean Vocational Qualification CVQ in secondary schools come September 2012.
You would have heard recently that we will be launching, we will be piloting the CVQs, the Caribbean Vocational Qualifications, at our secondary schools this year. It means, therefore, that some of the students who will be entering secondary school this year will be given the opportunity to be part of this program where we will focus on skill development.
And that's the English segment of the news. We now join Marcus in St. Louis for the Creole highlights.
Alors tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non moins c'est Macpherson Saint-Louis. Premièrement, Dominique n'a eu l'occasion à présent pour promotion art et puis culture. L'occasion ça l'a établi en vieux moulin en Kenfield. Gouvernement Dominique financier l'occasion ça l'a en plein. Division culture tient une cérémonie mercredi semaine là pour dédier l'occasion ça là. Monsieur Gregory Rabes, c'est officier culture pour affaires projet.
Édition new en studio neuf, en studio tout neuf, nous lancé ici aujourd'hui. Ça c'est un studio gouvernement Dominique même, Dominica, Government of Dominica Ministry of Culture, ça c'est gouvernement Dominique qui finançait bâtiment ça là. Comprenez? So ça qu'a montré qui gouvernement Dominique a fait un effort pour faire différents bagailles en Kiltia, soit pour faire bâtiment, pour faire ça, il y a qui formation, training, d'autres bagailles encore en Kiltia en Dominique. L'autre bagaille qui fait, puis ici, c'est nous lancer en institution, il y a qui est Dominica Institute for the Arts, ok? Ça, institut ça, c'est une édition Kilti pour nous en Dominique. Là, nous avons fait formation en différents sujets en Kiltia, sujets qu'on danse, différents instruments musicaux. Nous avons étudié dans Kilti même, nous avons étudié dans la langue créole là. Il y a d'autres études dans les gens qui ont peinture des bagailles, nous avons fait bel portrait comme ça. So, il y a danse traditionnelle, les gens qui apprennent à battre tambour, drum kit, tout ces bidons là ça. So, il y a un lot de différents sujets. Là, nous avons motivé les gens et puis nous avons invité jeunes gens Dominique, les enfants, les gens aussi, pour venir au Old Mill Cultural Center et puis enregistrer pour ces différents sujets, ces différents sujets formation. Nous sommes ici en centre Kiltia, ici à Old Mill.
À notre nouvel département environ qu'a observé moi, j'ai comme moi, ou là, vous mettez attention à ces affaires environ. Ils ont organisé plusieurs activités tout le long à mois là. Ils ont ces plus grandes activités là, c'est cérémonie où là, ils ont awardé plusieurs monde qui fait une bonne contribution à la santé environ. Monsieur Anthony Scotland, c'est chef officier département santé environ Dominique.
Well, moi ça c'est moi Environment Health Month. Et bien nous tenions plus l'activité, nous tenions un match ça c'était plus bon nous tenions un match à Portsmouth pour l'école de promouvoir safe environment place moi que change place là safe. Nous tenions workshop avec manager, supervisor, moun qui travaille à public service là. Nous tenions un workshop avec construction moun qui travaille en agriculture avec d'autres area. So nous tenions symposium là. So ça c'est une major activity. Also nous tenions discussion avec moun ce village là pour comment il y a place de travail. Donc also calling award ceremony. Moun qui ka promoter en place qui safe environment. Donc allez buy your plaques avec certificate. So award ceremony is like ko travail place moun qui ka promote in individuals themselves, moun ki même ka fait job là, fait avec organisation pour like labor union, c'est moun sa qui ka promote safety pour workers. So nous ka les recommend award ceremony pour ça qui est ça pour recognition. Ça ka fait en jeudi à Paul's Cuisine.
En notre nouvelle, officier technical hors Cuba en pays là à présent, qu'a assisté ministre agriculture Gourmet au compte mauvais virus qui a affecté l'industrie citrus en pays là. Parole celle-là sorti officier quarantine ministre agriculture M. Ryan Ansem.
Ça nous fait nous avons un problème en citrus là et nous demandons un gouvernement Cuba pour aider nous avec 3 spécialistes. Ces 3 spécialistes ils sont là pour 3 mois. Ils ont aidé nous, ils ont train staff pour garder comment nous ça fait ça qui est diagnostic avec ces maladies ça là parce que une maladie qui on peut garder en bas température bas avec température haut et ils ont montré nous comment nous pour faire ça. Ils ont train ces farmers là, ils ont train tout le monde pour comment ils ont identifié maladie ça là. So encore c'est Cuba qui a aidé nous, ils ont aidé nous pour garder pour ces maladies ça avec olayoye avec comment nous ça gourmet contre ces maladies ça là.
Et puis finalement, le gouvernement Dominica a pris une décision adopter mesures qui concerne les enfants qui ont bénéficié du programme School Transfer Grant. Selon le ministère de l'Éducation, Honorable Peter Saint-Jean, le gouvernement Dominica a pris une décision en négligeant parents qui passent à Ford qui bénéficient de ce programme. Le programme qui a assisté autant parents pour tuer livres et puis had bas enfants ailleurs. Ministre Saint-Jean fait parole que le gouvernement les bon parti connaît conditions autant parents où ils ont continuer et puis programme cela. Le ministre de l'Éducation mettait plusieurs programmes en place pour faire assurer que tout étudiant tape opportunité pour éducation haute qualité en pays là. Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelles en créole pour à présent. Non moins, c'est Macpherson St. Louis. Au revoir.
When we come back, we'll bring you a few upcoming events and the government notices. Do stay with us.
You're watching GIS.
Time now for a few government notices. All those concerned are asked to note the following hurricane shelters and shelter managers for the communities of Wharton Waven, Newtown and Trafalgar. Wharton Waven Hurricane Shelter is a Wharton Waven government school where the shelter manager is Michael Bruno and the assistant is Joey Moranci. Newtown, the basement of the Catholic Church, is a hurricane shelter. The shelter manager there is Albert Dirampel and his assistant is Peter Gregoire. Trafalgar, your hurricane shelter, is the Trafalgar Government School. Henry George is the shelter manager and Miranda Baptist is the assistant shelter manager. Members of the public are asked to take note of the following numbers which could prove useful during the hurricane season. The Office of Disaster Management located in Jimmet, that telephone number is 448-8831 and the hotline is 448-7777. The Dominica Met Service Office located at the Kinfield Airport, the telephone number is 449-1990 and the fax number is 449-2020. The Dominica Met Service located at the Melville Hall Airport, that telephone number is 445-7878, the fax number is 445-7849. The weather hotline is 447-5555 or you may visit the website weather.gov.dm for updated weather reports. The Kinfield Urban Council will be collecting white goods on the 2nd, 3rd and 4th of July. We urge all residents to place all white goods for disposal at the roadside. White goods are metal items that do not decompose. Thank you for your cooperation. Up next, your tip of the day. Even if you're hunched over in agony, taken to your bed will only make your bad back worse. The latest research shows that bed rest weakens back muscles and prolongs the suffering. And that's National Focus. As usual, we invite your suggestions or comments. Feel free to drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm, or you could visit our website at news.gov.dm, or you could visit our GIS Dominica pages on YouTube and Facebook. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Mervin Matthew. Thank you for watching.